For my content analysis, I will be talking about the representation of Hispanic women in popular TV shows. When it comes to prevalence, education, and workforce in the United States, at 22.2 million, Latinas account for 17% of all adult women in the United States today. Their population grew by 5.6 million from 2010 to 2022, which is the largest numeric increase of any major female racial or ethnic group. Hispanic women are more likely to have a bachelor's degree today, 23% in 2023, than they were in 2013, 16%. More Hispanic women than ever are also completing graduate degrees. Despite all this, Hispanic men, white men, and non-Hispanic women all have higher labor force participation rates than Hispanic women today. These are some of the false beliefs about Latina women in America. First, they are anti-abortion, anti-birth control social conservatives. A poll commissioned by the National Latina Institute of Reproductive Health found that the majority of Latinas agree that women have the right to make their own personal, private decisions about abortion. Another one is that they are rarely suffering from institutionalized education disparities. As women, racial, and ethnic minorities, and for the most part members of a low socioeconomic status group, Latinas possess a triple minority status, all of which impact their educational opportunities. Another misconception is that they are hypersexual and promiscuous, and it is not hard to find examples of the sexualization of Latina women in pop culture. This kind of stereotyping, besides being inaccurate, has been used to blame high rates of teen pregnancies in the communities of the spicy Latina. In fact, a 2009 study looking at sexual health factors in teens by race and ethnicity shows that female rates of teenage intercourse for Latinas and non-Latina whites are identical, with 45% of teen girls from both racial ethnic groups reporting having had sex. Finally, mass incarceration and the prison industrial complex only affect Latino men. In the last 20 years, the number of women incarcerated increased at a rate almost double that of men, with Latina women being 69% more likely to be incarcerated than white women. Given the ongoing challenge of underrepresentation of Latinas in television, I decided to focus my analysis on popular shows from the last 5 years that intentionally feature Latinas in various roles. The shows that I selected are part of the top 5 most used streaming platforms in America. And according to digitaltrends.com, Netflix has 269.6 million paid memberships, while Hulu has 50.2 million and HBO Max has 99.6 million. The shows that I selected are Ugly Betty, Vida, Eastbound and Down, Orange is the New Black, Queen of the South, Narcos, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Barry, Modern Family, and Los Spookies. I focused my analysis on the following observations. First one is prevalence, basically the presence of Hispanic female characters in lead, supporting, or recurring roles. Occupation, jobs and professions portrayed by Hispanic female characters. Personality traits, for example, positive like intelligent, strong, or negative, stereotypical, submissive. Also, family dynamics, family roles and relationships portrayed for Hispanic female characters. And finally, sexuality, how sexuality is portrayed for Hispanic female characters. During my research, I came across an article by Michael Haynes titled Latino Stereotypes in Television, and he talks about Latina women being often portrayed as being very sexual and often having roles as prostitutes and things of that nature, as well as being very loud and obnoxious. Some stereotypes are fading off of TV, including the unintelligent stereotype, whereas others are still continuing to be used, including Latinos being crooks and Latinas being sex objects. Another finding is that Latinos are underrepresented on English language television, 17% of population but 5% of characters, and Latinas portrayed as more verbally aggressive than white women. More on research data, for an actor to be intentionally considered for a role, a breakdown must be written specifically for one's sex and race ethnicity, in this case for female and Latin, and breakdowns that might be written for women might not be looking for Latinas, for example. In the context of casting, breakdowns are documents that detail the roles and characteristics needed for a particular character. According to Guzman and Valviria, popular media entertainment and marketing advertisements contribute to Latinidad's prevalence. The term Latinidad originated with US Latino studies and is used to describe the shared experiences and cultural connections of people from Latin America, including those living in the United States. The problem with this term is that it can oversimplify the immense diversity within Latin America. This includes differences in race, ethnicity, language, socioeconomic status, and cultural traditions across various countries. Latinidad risks creating a monolithic image of Latinos that erases these complexities. Molina Guzman also identified that um, ethnic and racial ambiguity and sexualized Latina exoticness are equally central to the media industry efforts to use multicultural accents to sell products and programming to global audiences. Um, in simple numerical terms, Latina characters have appeared in numbers far below their share of the US population, 9% according to the US Census Bureau. Hunt et al. Determined that both the 2015 and 2016 and the 2016 and 17 seasons of broadcast, cable, and digital scripted shows, Latinas comprised 2.9% of all roles, and for the 2018 and 19 season, 2.6% of all roles. The following graph represents the percentage of most frequent descriptives in breakdowns for Latinas compared with breakdowns for white women. And as I mentioned before, breakdowns are documents that detail the roles and characteristics needed for a particular character. And this study shows that breakdowns for Latinas use words like sexy, gorgeous, and beautiful to describe them. And only a smaller percentage of breakdowns for white women use those same words. What this indicates is that Latinas are more likely to be described using terms related to physical attractiveness compared to white women in these casting breakdowns. This graph shows that Latinas are more likely to be cast if the breakdowns include things like caretakers, positive attractiveness, and aggressive spirit. So now to the results. When it comes to prevalence, the presence of Hispanic female characters, lead, supporting, and recurring. Only 3 leading roles from the 10 shows that I selected, 6 supporting and 7 recurring. When it comes to occupation, jobs and professions portrayed by Hispanic female characters, there was 1 character portrayed as a business owner, 3 hold assistant jobs in different lines of work, 3 were inmates, 1 was a housewife, 2 drug dealers, and other shows have limited representation. And when it comes to personality traits, there were some positive traits. Many characters displayed positive traits like intelligence, strength, ambition, and loyalty. This challenges the stereotype of Latinas as passive or submissive. But there were also negative traits. Some characters fall into stereotypical portrayals, emphasizing beauty, materialism, and domesticity. When it comes to family dynamics, these are family roles and relationships portrayed for Hispanic female characters. When family was a focus, many shows like Ugly Betty, Vida, and Modern Family portray strong family bonds and the importance of family within the Latina culture. Characters like Gloria and Betty showcase their roles as devoted wives, mothers, and daughters. Some complexity is explored. Some shows like Vida and Orange is the New Black delve into the complexities of family dynamics. Characters like Dayanara and Aleida experience strained relationships with their mothers due to the various circumstances. Finally, when looking at sexuality, how sexuality is portrayed for Hispanic female characters. And there were some emerging trends. Shows like Vida include LGBTQ Latina characters, expanding the portrayal of sexuality beyond heterosexuality. Characters like Lynn challenge the stereotype of Latinas as hypersexualized and explore a broader spectrum of sexual identities. Some limitations: many characters, especially in older shows like Ugly Betty and Modern Family, have a non existent or traditionally portrayed sexuality, potentially reinforcing stereotypes. The focus on power and survival in shows like Queen of the South leaves little room for exploration of sexuality. Now to the conclusions. There's a positive trend towards more diverse and complex portrayals of Latina characters on television. Shows like Vida and Orange is the New Black depict Latinas with a variety of personalities, professions, and family dynamics. Latina characters are no longer confined to stereotypical roles like the spicy Latina or the maid. Inclusions of LGBTQ Latinas like Lynn in Vida expands the spectrum of representation. Regarding of all this, stereotypes still exist. There are stereotypical portrayals, like in shows like Modern Family, which rely on stereotypes of beauty, domesticity, and materialism for the Latina characters. The hypersexualization of Latinas in shows like Queen of the South can be problematic, and limited portrayals in shows like Narcos, Eastbound and Down, and Barry contribute to the invisibility of Latinas on television. Some of the limitations on my content analysis is that despite presenting evidence of the prevalence of Hispanic women in popular TV, my analysis focuses on shows that intentionally portray Latina characters. And also shows like Eastbound and Down, Narcos, and Barry, they may have limited Hispanic female characters, potentially impacting the analysis of prevalence and overall representation. And finally, these are the references that I used.